What's going on, Geeks? You're listening to episode 314 of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. My name is Cody Armour. I'm here with Shelley Nollan.
Hello.
And Lj.Lowery.
What up?
And this week, we're geeking out about fighting games. Well, at least LJ is.
Always.
The future of Warner Brothers. And it actually looks bright, so that's cool. And Disney Plus stuff going on. So, I feel like Disney Plus, there's always news.
That's true. Disney. It's like Disney used to just overtake our movie section pretty much entirely, and now it's moved to the TV section.
Yes. Yeah.
Kinda, yeah.
I'm actually, we'll get into the Warner Bros. News, but that's probably what I'm most excited for. Personally, Warner Bros. Had a rough go. Hopefully some new blood will help. We'll get into the games we've been playing, LJ. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I've been into a lot. The first thing I'll mention quickly is something I haven't played a lot until recently, but Predator Hunting Grounds is something I played with my friends at the Infinity Bros. I never get into these asymmetrical multiplayer games because I never have a lot of people to play with, but they were playing the other night and invited me, and we're kind of all pumped up about Prey, which is coming up on Friday. And
that's soon. Cool.
Yeah,
I did not realize it was that soon.
Yep, I'm doing a review for the site too, which will be cool. But it was awesome. It's a lot of fun. So in that game, you can literally like self-destruct as the Predator, like he does in the movies. And so one of the guys from the Infinity Bros, Jarrett, he was so we had one person leave, so four of us took on like another player Predator, and so all of us were dead, and he literally took that thing on like Arnold. And like there's a clip I put on I shared on Twitter. But he literally, like, fought the thing, and the person hit the self-destruct thing, and he ran out of, like, the radius, and the thing, like, self-destructed, and he basically got us the win. It was, like, straight out of the movie. It was awesome.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
It was amazing. But that was a lot of fun playing with those guys. We got to know those guys pretty well, and they're, like, one of the few podcasts I listen to regularly. But it was a lot of fun.
I had a similar experience in Apex recently. It wasn't too long ago. I was just picking up loot. And then, you know, the characters, they like when you start shooting, they tell you that someone's shooting.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm being shot at or whatever. And like by the time I would get to the guy being shot at, he would have like a whole team down.
Oh.
Carried me the entire. I don't even know if I shot a gun.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like he just wiped out everybody. It was a PS5 version. I was just like, okay,
oh, I gotta win.
I don't usually use a microphone. I don't know. I just like quietly sit in my.
I mean, that game makes it easy to where you don't really need to. Also.
Yeah, right. I went and grabbed headphones. It's really like, man, you carried me better than I've ever seen before in my life. It was an honor, sir.
That's cool. The other game I want to give a shout out to because I got it out on a whim a few days ago, like in the middle of the week, and I already beat it. It's like kind of short, but there's a lot more to do. But it's called Severed Steel, and I've posted clips on Twitter, and it's basically like Max Payne meets John Wick. You play as this character. She basically, so she only has one arm. That's why it's called Severed Steel, and I think her name is Steel. But it's like a super hot kind of situation where they put you in rooms, and you basically just have like access to this slow motion button, and you can just shoot people. And run out of ammo, you throw a gun at somebody. You can literally take the sidearms off of the soldiers as you're like sliding and diving and stuff, and it's really fun. It's only a couple hours long, but I had so much fun with it that I beat it in like 2 days, and I was just like, it's rare that I get a game like that and beat it like right away. So it was a lot of fun.
Though. I mean, held your attention.
Yeah, so. And then and it's nice too because like even the dev like from the official Twitter and the publisher were liking my tweets and stuff, and so it's like
nice.
It was cool to like to see, you know, they know that I'm into their game because it's like it's one of those games where it's very like the clips and things you can do are very shareable. Like you can literally do a backflip and take out like 3 dudes and like or do a wall run, and you know like there's a lot of cool stunts and crazy things you can do like right out of a movie. So it's super fun. And then the last thing I want to mention, because we are talking about Warner Brothers, is I've been playing a lot of multiverses.
Oh yeah.
A
lot of people have.
Yeah, it's super fun. It's definitely no Smash Brothers, but I feel like it stands on its own in some ways. Like it's really good quality. I've maxed out, so I mean you can level up characters even further, but I maxed out Wonder Woman's like mastery rewards, and so like she's my main. I actually got some birthday cash, and I ended up getting the Founders Pack. But
Nice.
you can unlock the characters with coins, so it feels kind of nice to actually unlock characters again, even though I just kind of skipped all that yesterday. But it's super fun. I'm enjoying it a lot. People are really good and get really, really sweaty at a certain point. Like, once you start to get, like, to the higher levels, like past 10, so you'll start finally, like, getting into some real, like, good matches. Yeah, it's so much fun. I'm enjoying it. Wonder Woman is one of my characters. I've been trying out Steven from Steven Universe, and he's kind of mid as far as, like, character tiers go, but
That's what I've heard. I've heard Bugs Bunny's really good.
Bugs Bunny's OP. He's getting nerfed, and actually my main Wonder Woman is getting buffed. So I was like, yes. But
I love to see it.
yes, because I was like, she's very defensive, and sometimes I feel like I just don't have the chops to compare to like Shaggy, who's like real OP. Dude's got a mean spike. That game, they really teach you, like, they really put a lot of emphasis on edge guarding and stuff, and like a lot of like air defense, like, you know, to try to like knock people up, like when they're trying to recover back and stuff. Like, it's super fun. But
I can't
yeah,
believe they added LeBron James.
yes, and so that was a
So
thing.
funny.
I think that was actually at SDC that they announced that. I forgot about that, but I have played as LeBron, and I mean, it makes sense because Space Jam, but he's actually a really fun character to play as. He uses his basketball a lot, and so like you can actually lose it and then gain it back, you know, and like do all kinds of cool stuff with the basketball, and he's actually really fun to play as. So
Nice.
I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I think a lot of other people are too. So it's nice to see that it's doing well. So
Cool.
yeah, that's where I've been a lot of gaming lately. So that's it.
That's awesome. What about you, Shelley?
Well, my husband and I, we finished our Blue Lines playthrough.
Nice.
Fire Emblem Three Hopes. So that's our first official playthrough, our first official... We beat the story, right? But it's like, that's the thing with this game. Similar to Three Houses, there's different paths to take. So
More to do, yeah.
Now we are with the Black Eagle side, and then after this we'll do the Golden Deer side. Even though they have technically like different names in Three Hopes, it's like Azure Gleam and Scarlet Blaze, and I think it might actually be Golden Wind, which is hilarious because JoJo's. But so, and I've heard a lot of people complain about the story of Three Hopes, but I wasn't really disappointed per se. I think I just had low expectations already. So it actually met those expectations.
Because of Age of Calamity.
Absolutely. I was like, I at least know two things for sure. I know it's going to be better than Age of Calamity, and I know it's not going to be as good as Strikers. So if I just keep in that sort of realm, like, and, you know, it probably won't be as good a story as Three Houses either, because, like, it doesn't really make sense for... Again, that was one of my issues with Age of Calamity. Sorry, a small spoiler for people who haven't played it and would like to, but I was really upset that Age of Calamity's story and plot left a better ending than like Breath of the Wild, and like made Breath of the Wild feel like it didn't need to happen. Whereas I feel like Three Hopes was actually very complimentary to Three Houses. Like, it is sort of a different timeline scenario, but I think it was complimentary in the way that the stories were still somewhat similar in both games, but it dropped a lot of lore, and it had a lot of cool character moments and relationships, and supports. All of the support conversations really good in this game. I'm surprised with how like well it feels like a Fire Emblem game. Like, it really is Fire Emblem, just with Warriors gameplay. Like, it's more of a Fire
really
Emblem
good
game.
like job about like doing that lately with these like Warriors games. I love that.
I know, and I'm really happy with it, because I was just kind of anticipating not as chaotic and nonsensical as Fire Emblem Warriors, but like, you know, I had played that game, and so I'm just like, okay, that story was so bad, / there barely was a story, it didn't make sense, I kind of hated it, so I kind of was like, all right, well, that's where the bar is, so it's gonna be that probably, and of course it does. I don't know, it was really fun to play as each character, and what is interesting about this game versus other Warrior-style games is that most Warrior-style games, each character specifically has a unique playstyle, whereas in this game, it's all dependent on class. So, like, each class has its own sort of gameplay loop and combos and moves and things like that. What's unique about every character does have a unique ability. Usually you hit the ZR button, sometimes you don't. That allows you to do a special thing, whether that's an extra powerful attack or maybe like Felix's, for example, is really fun because basically if you dodge while a opponent is attacking, you get a speed boost and you could stack it up to 7 times. So with Felix, it's really fun because you could just zoom around and just be really quick and you feel like a really, he's a samurai-like character, right? So you just feel like you're this really super quick samurai, which is very fun. So I actually found, and am finding, because we're still playing it, right? All the characters to be really fun to play, especially as the classes get more powerful. It does get more fun and it does get more satisfying, which I really appreciate. I think it would be really annoying if like the base classes were more fun to play than the master classes, but thankfully that's not the case. The master classes are really fun. You feel so like, I love playing as like a Dark Knight or Holy Knight, or a Moral Savant, where you can do physical attacks, but then you also have your magic abilities. And I thought it was cool how they implemented like weapon durability and combo or combat arts. That's right, combat arts from Three Houses. I thought that was kind of cool. So like weapons don't actually break in this game, but you have a set amount of durability on each weapon, and the more durability you have, the more availability you have. So the more times you can use combat arts, which like, so that's like cool, makes sense. But it also means that you can just use really broken weapons, and you can just keep using them, and you're not going to get punished for using it in more than one battle, like in Three Houses. Like, if you used a sacred weapon too many times in Three Houses, it was a pain to try to repair it. But that's not the case in this game, which I think is an improvement, if anything.
Yeah.
I really like how you can expand all the facility stuff, and that carries over into New Game Plus, so you can make the kitchen better, you can make the supplies better, you can... you just upgrade things like that. I really like that aspect. That feels very modern Fire Emblem. Like, that's very much a thing from, like, Fates and... I don't think Awakening. I'm thinking mostly of Fates, where it's like you had your little home base in the astral plane, and no, it doesn't make sense, because Fates doesn't make sense, but you can kind of upgrade things in there, and that was actually kind of a fun thing in that game, too, so I liked that aspect. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really enjoying it, even though I know a lot of people say they don't like the story. I do think a lot of people refer specifically to Claude's route, or the Golden Deer route. So we haven't played that yet, so I'm curious to see kind of what they're talking about. Because, at least for me, I was like, I liked Azure Gleam, and so far I'm liking Scarlet Blaze. They're fairly basic, but, kind of interesting, but it's still fun to play, and I liked the map system. It kind of reminds me of, it reminds me a little bit of Dragon Age Inquisition, because you can kind of just like, which I think I might have mentioned before in this podcast, but just the map spread, and you can kind of like take over different parts. I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, now we're playing New Game Plus, right? So a lot of stuff carries over. A lot of like, you can have the same levels as the last playthrough with your characters. Nice. You can you carry over your money, you carry over renown, which is actually a thing also in Three Houses, where you collect something called renown, and you can use those renown points in your next playthroughs to spend on cool stuff, usually like really broken items or things. What is kind of a bummer in this game is that you can spend renown on some cool stuff, like cool items. Like, we got a really cool sword. You can get like the Sword of the Creator and things like that, or like cool alternative versions of it, and so that's pretty fun. But there's also some unlockable characters you can buy.
Oh, nice.
That I won't say what the characters are, just in case people are worried about spoilers, but they're very cool, very fun. But what's drives me insane is that you can't actually use them in any like story, or you can only play it in replay mode, is what I should say.
Like the free play stuff that those games usually have? Yeah, that's weird.
And that's awful, because no one's replaying the same route again. Or many people are going to go back and grind levels, because there's already so many levels. You don't really need to grind the same ones. You could just go to a new one, and that unlocks other stuff. And then once you're done with one playthrough, you're probably going to play a different house or a different path like we're doing. And so that really leaves almost no opportunity for you to even play these characters. It's weird, because it's like, And the same is with, I think you can also technically recruit and have some characters from your old playthrough. Like, I think in replay mode, we could play as Dimitri, whereas even though, we're playing the Black Eagles route, so it doesn't really make sense to have Dimitri because he's our Blue Lions. So I think that's part of the reason they're like, oh, story reason, it doesn't make sense to, like, have some of these characters here. But I'm like, come on now, it's New Game Plus. You should
fun.
let me do this. Like, it's for fun. You don't have to have them show up in the camp. You don't have to have them have any dialogue. Like,
just
I don't
put
care
them in the
about
roster. Put them in my
Exactly. Like, I just want them as playable units. They don't need to exist otherwise. So I'm like, that's pretty annoying that that's the case there. Especially because you have to spend a lot of renown on them. So I like spent all my renown on them, and then I was going into a story battle, and I couldn't select any of them, and I'm like, what the heck's going on? And the thing is, like, I looked online, and everyone's just like, looking up, okay, how do you unlock these characters? I'm like, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there's another step I need to take to recruit them properly. Maybe I just unlocked them, but I need to recruit them or something. But it just came up with guide after guide after guide of stuff I've already done. It's like, oh, New Game Plus, just spend, your renown. And I'm like, that's not helpful. I literally had to go to Reddit to see, I'll find a random post where someone was complaining the same thing, where they realized you can only play in replay mode. So for anyone out there wanting to play, that's my warning to you. They're very cool characters, but you can only play them in replay mode in New Game Plus, which is a bummer. But besides that, I'm liking the game so far. I feel like I already talked a lot about it, but I just
no, it's cool.
That's why.
It's your bread and butter.
And it's also just really fun with co-op as well. I'm a big fan of Wario's co-op because you just feel so strong because there's just 2 player units.
Smash through things.
One, and you're just like doing all these crazy combos.
The kill count gets
together.
to like 5,000 and...
Yeah, and like when we are fighting like next to each other, we can like combo like into each other's combos.
Yeah.
Like it's very fun.
That's cool.
But anyway, I could stop talking. I've been playing that game a lot.
No, it's cool.
I played Arkham Knight finally.
Oh yeah, nice.
Quite a bit of it. I haven't gotten like super far into it. Introduced the car, put the car on top of a building, which was very ridiculous.
That's a mechanic you'll be doing through a lot of the main like hubs in that game. The main areas. Okay. Because it's almost like a Metroidvania kind of a thing, to where like you'll get a tool to be able to do this thing, and then halfway through the level and then he'll be like, all right, well I need the car. Yeah.
Yeah, that part is interesting to me. I don't know if I love the car yet or not. I know that was a lot of people's like critiques of the game in the first place.
I like using it as like a vehicle in a tank that they want you to use it as. Like for it to be such a huge puzzle mechanic is a bit off-putting. But other than that, it's like using it in like it's like the Dark Knight. It's a big tank. So.
Yeah, I kept driving it off the building, and I was like, okay, I'm annoyed now. Maybe I'll get better at it as I progress. We'll see. I don't know. I like it so far. I haven't played an Arkham game since Arkham City. On the Wii U.
Wow, I forgot that game even came out on the Wii U.
Yeah, so it's been a while.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just like after watching the Batman, I don't know if I'm playing differently or I just appreciating the atmosphere a little bit more. But the atmosphere feels very much like the Batman.
Yeah. My brother-in-law actually loves the Arkham Knight series, and when the Batman came out, we like pull him aside. We're like, "Hey, you're gonna watch this movie because it's like Arkham Knight Batman. It's very similar."
Basically, yeah.
So I like that. That's cool.
Like I literally walked into the precinct, and they were like, "Here's 4 crimes you need to figure out," and it was like, "All right, I'm gonna go be a detective now."
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that's when they give you your like side missions and stuff. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm really enjoying that aspect of it. I kind of know the ending already a little bit, and so I do think it's kind of on the nose. I know a lot of people were frustrated. I'm going to give some spoilers this game.
I mean, it came out in like 2015, so go for it.
Yeah, super old. And I think everyone knows too that in the end it ends up being what's Red Hood's name? Jason Todd.
Jason Todd.
Yeah, so the Arkham Knight is Jason Todd. But what I think is really interesting and is that like that was people's complaints about Arkham Knight is that it was so close to the Red Hood story, and then spoilers to Titan season 3 which has not been out that long. So you're wanting to watch, and I think they pretty much reveal it immediately. You kind of know what's going to happen with this. But like the story so far for Arkham Knight is very sizzle. I guess the other way around. Titan season 3 story is very similar to Arkham Knight's.
Interesting.
Just the inclusion of the Scarecrow, from what I've gathered so far. I mean, I've just started, but season 3 is heavily like
those
Jason
two things
Todd
are
working
happening around the
Red
same
Hood
time.
working with Scarecrow really closely.
Wow.
So I don't know. It's kind of spoilery, but it's also like made pretty obvious pretty quickly in that season what's going on there. So it's just weird for them to be like, oh, the big critique is that you copied a storyline, and then Titans to be like, we're gonna copy that storyline again.
I think for me, it's just like it was meant to be. They build it as this big mystery. It's like, oh, you don't know this character. He's an original character. Then it's like, oh, well, no, he's not. You know, like.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, they really should have just kind of
like,
let it be.
I like his design, but and like how
Definitely.
he's this like military version of like Batman almost. But yeah, it's just the reveal is like, oh, really? That's it? You know? Like,
Yeah, you're just the Red Hood again.
yeah, I'm like, oh, we've been here before.
Yeah, it was weird. I remember hearing about it like when the game came out and thinking that it was kind of odd. But so far the journey's great. I don't care about the bat suits. They showed me a new bat suit, and I was wearing the Batman Beyond suit, which is the only Batman suit that matters.
So you must have like the like full edition or whatever, huh?
Yeah, I just downloaded the PS Plus thing, and gave me. I had to buy some suits, but it came with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say it should. Hopefully, it's like the deluxe edition that comes with like the season pass, like the side stuff as well. Because there's like
I don't know. There was a
like
lot to unlock, but
yeah, there's like side quests and like added like villains
with
side
Robin
quests.
and Batgirl and stuff.
Well, those are separate, but there's like in-game. There's a couple in-game like expansion stuff too. Like
Oh, okay.
I haven't played those
I might
yet,
have that some of
but yeah,
I haven't really looked. I played in Arkham City. I played as the Batman Beyond suit, and so I like immediately was like, do they have that suit? Because their eyes are so weird in this game, and the Batman Beyond suit, his eyes are just like glowing.
the Batman Beyond suit is very weird in this one.
Yeah. But just the eyes, like normal Batman's eyes, are kind of that dead Bethesda looking eyes. It is cool that they light up white when he's like on his computer and stuff. But I wanted to go to Batman Beyond right away. I was like, give me the red eyes. I don't need to see his face. It's too much. And then, super annoying, they revealed this new Batsuit, and I'm like, that's cool. And I put the Batsuit on in the cutscene, and I'm like, okay. And then they made me wear the Batsuit that they were showing me. Like, they took me out of my Batman Beyond suit to put this one on, and I was like, no, I told you that I want to wear this suit.
So it switched, yeah.
Yeah, it was such an odd thing. I've never had a game like switch my costume. Like it made sense in the cutscene.
Yeah.
For them to do everything, but I was like, that's not. No, I didn't want to wear that, or I would have chosen that because you gave me that option. The Batman Beyond suit is way more advanced than whatever suit you're trying to give me now. But yeah, I don't know. I'm loving it.
Cool.
It's been a while, but it feels very much like Batman. Like it's probably the closest.
Oh yeah.
To like what Batman should be in my mind.
Yeah.
The way that the people talk, the thugs are talking around the city about Batman, and he's kind of like this urban legend.
Oh, Arkham Origins was so good. I know it's like the black sheep of the series, but I love Arkham Origins more than Arkham Knight, I think.
That's cool.
That's like my favorite Arkham game.
Yeah, I'm liking it. It makes me excited for that RPG that they're coming out with, that action RPG.
Yep. Oh yeah, Gotham Knights. Yep.
Gotham Knights, yeah.
My plan is to main Batgirl because I know everybody else out there is probably gonna do like Nightwing and Robin and Red Hood. So I'm like, I'm gonna main Batgirl, just because I know she's the one character that like nobody's hardly gonna play as. So
yeah, it's cool stuff.
All right.
You can get it if you have a PS Plus. You can get it on
PS
PlayStation
Plus,
5.
like the PS Plus Extra,
The collection.
probably.
Yeah, I'm not paying the extra stuff. It's just in the collection.
Oh, that's right. It is in the collection. I forgot about that. Okay.
Yeah, I missed it, I guess, before. So I was like, oh,
Interesting.
pick it up. I haven't played it before. Yeah, let's get into the gaming news.
Okay. Yeah. So, not much to really show here. I mean, there was a trailer. But there's a game coming out. This was from the Annapurna showcase. But it's a game called The Lost Wild. Yes, that does sound like Lost World. Because it is a dinosaur survival horror game. And oh man, like I've always wanted like a first-person horror game from like in Jurassic Park or something like that. Like I've always pictured one like based on the book, But like this is like the next best thing that I think we're gonna get, and I'm pumped for it. I think it's not coming out for like another year or two, but I am stoked for it. So I just wanted to give that a shout out because that was the highlight of that showcase for me. Other than that, there was like updates on some smaller indie stuff, but yeah, super stoked for that. In probably bigger news, the KOTOR remake, the Knights of the Old Republic remake, is apparently delayed indefinitely, according to Jason Schreier and Bloomberg.
So sad.
And see, this is kind of why I was kind of worried or hesitant about it before, was because I know Aspyr is like, they do mostly ports. Like I've said this before, they do mostly ports and like smaller stuff. So it's like, for them to be working on such a project, I think was exciting. But apparently there's been changes in staff and stuff like that. So I guess because of those changes, the KOTOR game will not be coming out for a while. And so it's
at least
basically
it's delayed, not canceled, I suppose.
Yeah, like I mean, it sounds like development has kind of slowed to a crawl for now. Again, it's a bummer because like I know people that like bought a play. I think even my buddy Caleb, he's like, "Oh, I'm buying a PlayStation 5 because I know that KOTOR remake is coming out to that first." Like
crazy.
So it's delayed now. But yeah, no, it does suck. I agree. Like that was exciting news when they did announce that they were redoing it. So yeah, and then the third piece of gaming news, which I believe they wanted to get out there ahead of Evo, because people would be like, all right, where's Project L? It's Evo. We're going to wait for that announcement, because usually at Evo, not only is it an awesome fighting game esports event, but they usually have big announcements around that time. So the Riot Games, the developers of this fighting game, they basically did a dev diary explaining that the game will be free to play, which is no surprise if you're a League of Legends fan, but they released games last year that you do have to pay for. So I was unsure myself, but it sounds like they have, according to them, they have got the mechanics down. They've got a few characters down, and now so they're really going to get into the design process, which tells me that this game is still a long ways away, and to not expect it for a while.
Yeah, the small clips they showed look really cool and promising, but they were definitely emphasizing like this is really early on in development. But I'm like, you know what, it's fine.
Yeah,
it'll be fine.
Yeah, and it's a
if
tag.
I can get some arcane characters, I'm in.
Well, that's all it is. I mean, that's most of what it is. Is going to be like.
Yeah, the small clip is with Echo. So.
Yes, but Jinx has already been like shown in some of the tests too. Like,
Perfect.
like there's definitely going to be arcane characters in there.
I was going to say they know Arcane is carrying them a little bit. I mean, League has always been carrying them, but as far as like the popularity with the characters specifically goes, they know.
Yep, I think even Echo's getting his own game. I think pretty soon too.
Also, I don't know why Vi would not be in a fighting game. You know what I mean? Like, she's a fighter.
Literally a brawler.
Yep, I geeked out when.
Yeah.
I geeked out when they kind of went forward with that stuff in the show. Like all those, that show like just called back to a lot of that stuff, especially for fans. And I think this is going to be a good game to kind of unite Arcane fans and League fans, because I'm hoping it'll be good. And it's a tag system game, and I think it's going to be really accessible. So it's like I can't wait for it to come out. So that's gaming news.
Cool. Well, we'll get into movies then. I feel like I watched a movie, but I don't remember what it was, so I must not have. Go ahead, LJ. Go. You got a pretty big one.
Okay. All right. Had to take a breath there for a sec. I've watched Nope. I've been wanting to see it for a while, and I got some extra birthday money, and so I was like, you know what? I'm chilling for the day. I'm not going to do much else. And so I was like, I'm going to go see a movie, which...
It looks pretty good.
Yeah. So this movie has a lot more depth to it. You would expect that from a Jordan Peele movie, but it's not just like, ooh, aliens.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of the best like alien sci-fi, like alien themed movies I've seen since like Signs. Which even Signs is in that Shyamalan movie.
I really like
it's-
Signs.
But it's like, Jordan Peele also has, very specific things he does and things like that. And it's very much a cautionary tale. All the characters are really good. All the actors do a fantastic job. There's some backstory there that I obviously won't share here, but there's some really heavy backstory stuff that I did not expect from this movie. But it's really good. It's both what you expect and not what you would expect at the same time, and that's a good thing. Like, I still haven't seen Us, which is Jordan Peele's second movie, which I probably should. But it's like, if you know his style, you're gonna get something special with this one. So I'm definitely gonna like watch it again when it comes out to like digital and like Blu-ray and stuff, because there's certain things that like I kind of like paid attention to when I watched it. But then reading more about it, I was like, oh, okay. So it's maybe not as complex as I expected it to be. But also there's a lot of things that, were written and done just for the sake of being, part of the message and stuff like that of the movie.
That's cool.
There were certain things I thought that were going to connect closer than they did, but also very, very well written. So,
Yeah.
I recommend it.
I just love that Keke Palmer's back at it.
She's
love
really
her.
good in this movie.
I like when I think of Keke Palmer, I think of Akilah and the Bee. I used to watch that movie all the time as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I just really, really loved that movie. So it makes me happy to see people popping off for her again.
Yeah, she's awesome. Really good movie though.
I think I was thinking of Man from Toronto, which I'm pretty sure I talked about last time.
Oh,
Not
yeah, I think
last week. Not
Did
last
you?
week, just a couple weeks ago.
the week before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember. In case I didn't talk about it. It's been so long. I don't know. Good movie. Kevin Hart plays Kevin Hart. We'll move on, because I feel like I did.
Yeah, that was one of those movies I think my mom and I started one night, and we're just like, oh, this is kind of boring, and then turned it off.
Oh, really? I really enjoyed it.
it.
Maybe I haven't talked about it then. I don't know. I mean, it's just another Kevin Hart movie, I think, is the biggest problem that I had. I've heard Gray Man's really good, and that's next on my list.
Oh, yeah. That was another movie we turned off and we kind of didn't finish.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, for 2, Netflix has been in my household lately. Aside from Dragon Prince, but,
Yeah. Well, we'll get into movie news then. Go ahead, Shelley.
Yeah, so we have a couple things. First thing, let's talk about Warner Bros. Since, actually, is there Warner Bros. Stuff in the TV section? Because we already talked about Warner Bros. With multiverses.
A little bit.
There is.
So maybe it's a Warner Bros. Maybe it's a Warner Bros. Show. Interesting.
It is the Warner Bros. show.
Well, anyway.
Maybe there's a reason for that.
I was going to say, so Warner Bros. Has just brought on Alan Horn as a consultant for them. I believe Alan Horn actually used to work with them a long time ago, but basically in this time in which he was with Disney for a little bit, and he's like super successful, right? Like, and everyone wants his consulting, so it's actually pretty big that he's going to be consulting back for Warner Brothers, just because, I don't know, Warner Brothers, I think it's easy to say it's been a little bit hit or miss the last decade.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe more so miss in some ways.
When you think Warner Bros, when you think of Warner Brothers in the Alan Horn era, think the Dark Knight movies, Harry Potter movies.
I was gonna say like Harry Potter, whereas I think of Warner Brothers now, I think of like
the crazy DC
the new
universe
Harry
thing
Potter
going on.
ones, but are really the magical beasts, magical creatures.
Magical.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about,
When
right?
Warner Bros
Fantastic
made good
Beasts.
movies, Alan Horn was
That-
doing a lot.
I forget what they're called.
That's funny.
But that, and I think of Space Jam 2.
Yeah, Alan Horn hopefully wouldn't have let Space Jam 2 fly.
Right, so this could be really good though. I think it's an all-around dub because
I'd say he would have swatted Space Jam 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would have blocked that one.
Yeah. Jeez. So, but I think this is all around good thing because, it's not like Warner Brothers is, yeah, it's like they have done a lot of really good things, and they have, as we now know, so many properties, and I just don't think they've been utilizing them very well. I think they are relying a lot on nostalgia, and they're just making really bad decisions, so, it sounds like Alan Horn could be like a little, positive thing that could happen for them, you know, and sort of turn them into a good direction, to a right direction, that could be pretty exciting.
If a video game is
one
one
article
of the best,
said that like a big focus is the integrity.
Yeah.
Not just with like movies, but having like workplace integrity for the actors and stuff. Which makes me think of the guy who played Cyborg.
Oh yeah, Ray Fisher and all the
yeah.
stuff
Ray Fisher and
all the
stuff.
stuff with like Joss Whedon and everything, and like
Even if the movies don't
Seriously.
get better,
All that
which hopefully they
stuff
do,
coming
at least it should be a little bit of a safer organization to work for again, which would be cool.
Yeah, and I think this is really exciting too because, yes, I think he has worked with Disney, but like this isn't Disney. Warner Bros. Is not Disney, and I feel like
Right.
we have really reached this point in which Disney, as far as movies, have really hit almost a monopoly at this point. Like
Yep.
they're the main things people go to theaters for. I mean, I'm kind of a hypocrite, right? Like I'm with that, right? Like I don't really go to theaters very often anymore, but it's usually if there's a Marvel thing out, I'll go. Or a new Disney thing out, and obviously we're talking about Disney a lot in the TV news as well. Warner Brothers has all this, you know, power and opportunity. They just have floundered it for so long, and I think it could be really good for, honestly, just the market and just having some competition of like, well, it's not all going to be Disney. We're going to have some exciting stuff from Warner Brothers too, something that we can actually count on being good and not just like, again, like those Harry Potter movies. I've given up hope on them because they're all just really bad. But who knows? Maybe he can maybe not make Harry Potter things per se, but just make other things that can be really good. But yeah, I think it's all good news.
I was gonna say earlier that it's pretty bad if a video game is the best thing that they got going right now.
No kidding. You're absolutely right. It's a little bit weird, especially just, you know, free little fighting game, little platform.
That's what, and that's what's surprising. I'm like, this thing is actually really good, and like everything else in Warner Brothers is really bad right
It's
now.
really not great. So, right? Yeah, I didn't.
Except
even think
for
about,
a few
like,
things, like the exceptions of like Peacemaker and like Suicide Squad and like Shazam.
The Batman.
some things.
I mean,
Yeah, the Batman. There's exceptions.
they're making solid movies when they're trying not to be Disney.
Yes, that's a really
Which is
good
interesting because I'm hoping that, I'm really hoping that Alan, I lost his name for a second.
Horn.
Alan Horn, kind of makes them more like Disney in a way. Talking about the competition and stuff and all that.
Yeah.
Just something that makes
So-
you want to go to a theater, right? And
Yep.
something that
Yeah.
you know is consistently going to be a certain caliber. Because like Marvel, a lot of like this newest phase of Marvel, for example, has been pretty disappointing. But part of that is because they have for so long still held this really high standard, and even their like, you know, the latest Thor movie and Multiverse of Madness, like we've talked about it a lot, but like in the end they aren't actually like really bad movies. We're
Even their
just
weakest
used
stuff is
to-
still decent.
Exactly. We're just used to their heyday. We're used to them being really, really good. And so now it's like, we've forgotten what bad movies look like because
Right.
this is what
Yeah.
we see, and we're used to like really high caliber stuff. So I think this could be really a good opportunity
It's a
for
good
them
point,
to maybe
like-
get back into that route.
When you compare Thor: Love and Thunder to previous Thor movies, then maybe it's not as, you know, as good.
It's probably
But if
still
you compare
better
it
than Thor
to-
1 and 2.
You compare it to like the Suicide Squad or the Justice League movie that came out, it's like the superior movie
Right.
to the DC movie still. Even though it's
yeah.
like one of the weaker Marvel movies. It's interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas,
Yeah.
yeah, now I feel like with Warner Brothers, it's like that. The standard is really bad. The standard is bad. They don't really like Suicide Squad being good was like pretty surprising, and all that good
Peacemaker and some of their
Peacemaker,
stuff has been very good lately, but it's been a
And part
bumpy
of that
ride.
also is specifically for Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. I think James Gunn is like a huge aspect
Well, yeah.
of that, almost probably sole aspect of that. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, all this being said, that's good news. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
This is actually a good segue into our next news. Talk about Shazam. and how, surprisingly enough, with all of these, you know, talks of universes, like cinematic universes, like the MCU and even like DCU, right? Remember that, like, being a thing. Surprisingly enough, Shazam and Black Adam, the directors have not really had a conversation about like having a crossover, which is really
Makes no sense.
It's like, on one hand, I obviously overall am not a fan of introducing new universes and stuff, but like DC is already somewhat established, and also it's just like if Black Adam is most known for his connection with Shazam as a sort of anti-hero villain kind of character, like he really is kind of like the anti-Shazam. They have similar outfits.
He should have literally been the villain for this movie.
Yeah, so...
And maybe even the first one.
It's like, I guess, and again, maybe I'm just used to all these stupid universes, but the fact that, you know, when Black Adam the trailer first came out, it was like, you know, it wasn't that long after Shazam, but I was like, oh, of course, like, you know, Shazam came out, and now they're doing Black Adam because they have Shazam, and now people are sort of paying attention to Black Adam because they're getting interested in Shazam, and then they're going to eventually do, like, some sort of movie together, and that will be exciting. But apparently, and not to say that won't happen, but the fact that that wasn't the plan is very interesting to me. I definitely would have thought, and granted, I haven't seen either movie, but... So maybe there's really just no connection at all, or no things that they're teasing. Which again, I respect.
Their costumes
totally
literally are the
fair.
same.
Yeah,
That's what I mean. It's like it's different than, like, you know, I can understand with like, and okay, I guess it's not a very good example because Spider-Man villains are still with Sony. But I think, you know, you can make Spider-Man movies, but then you can make his like Spider-Man villain movies like separated, and that's fine. I guess. I don't know, maybe that's not a very good comparison.
They still feel like they're missing. Yeah. I think this is interesting. Dwayne Johnson yesterday put on Instagram that Seven Bucks Production, which is a production company, have major plans to build out the Black Adam DC universe and the DC Pets universe. Super Pets universe.
Oh my gosh.
Which
Like, why are you making 1,000 different universes
Like,
for
again,
DC?
we don't need
sounded like a swing and a miss too.
We don't need universes, but it's fine to have like a crossover. It's kind of like it's like Godzilla, right? And King Kong. Like, that's a better example. Forget it. I was talking about Spider-Man.
That's an in-house example too, right there.
Yeah, it's like you can still have a Godzilla movie. You can still have a King Kong movie stand on its own, and that's still really cool and exciting. However, there still is a connection there that's already been established in previous media, previous, you know, creation of their characters and their lore and all that. So it only makes sense to have a crossover movie with them, which is what they did, right? Godzilla versus King Kong. So it kind of is very surprising to me that this seems like a very similar scenario, and that it wasn't already planned, and that they're trying to do other things, like...
Yeah, because like at SDCC, I think it was even like Zachary Levi and like other people were like, when that question got asked, they're like, I don't know. Like, you tell me. Like, you know, like, I have no idea.
Shazam was pretty popular, too. Like, I heard it was a pretty good movie. I never
It's a good movie. It really is.
So I would think that they would want to do more there, and whether it just be a Shazam 2 or, again, like a crossover with them. So, I don't know. Kind of sus.
Yeah.
That's all that they showed at SDCC was Shazam and Black Adam trailers.
So you would think... But no.
Yeah, there'd be a plan there. It makes no sense. They don't know what they're doing.
And then Marvel comes out going...
Here's our, not a 5-year plan, but like 15-year plan.
Granted, I don't know if all that stuff in Marvel's going to be good, but it's true. They have a plan, and they have an established thing that they're going forward with. So that's something that...
I don't need 5 different universes in DC.
Nope.
We'll talk about that in TV.
Yeah. We'll talk about that.
Could be a multiverse.
The last movie news I'd like to talk about is the trailer for Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
That just got released. It actually got released alongside Nope.
Oppenheimer Schmidt.
That's Jingleheimer.
No. It's a Christopher Nolan film, which is really freaking significant because Christopher Nolan's really good at making movies.
True.
He's really good at making movies. That trailer looks really freaking cool.
It does.
You have the black and white aesthetic, but then the fires of the nuclear bomb. It's like, shit. shoot.
It's very eerie. Like that trailer, when they showed it before Nope, I was like, wait, what is this? Because they already dimmed the lights and everything. And I was like, wait, what's going on here? And I was like, it's the trailer for Oppenheimer. I was like, okay. Like, I remember hearing that it existed before, like, that it came out before the movie. And so I was like, oh, I forgot that this was a thing. And it was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, just the eeriness and just...
It definitely is eerie.
It was very tense for being just like a teaser.
Yeah.
I was going to say, speaking of Warner Brothers, but it's actually Universal. I forgot that he moved.
Oh, yeah.
Nolan.
Yeah, so looks really cool. I think it will release a couple days before the I forget which anniversary, what number, but like the first nuclear bomb going off, which is like so weird.
It's a July movie.
Yes.
Yeah. Just feels weird because it's like that's not something to celebrate. It's not necessarily celebrating it, but it is like, you know, it's stating it as a thing. I'm just very curious to see like more about this movie. It looks really cool. And we obviously trust Christopher Nolan. He's really good at making movies. So.
And Cillian Murphy. That guy can act.
Yeah,
he's the actor. An amazing actor. Really good with like the emotionless. I haven't watched a lot of what's that Netflix show that he's in? Peaky Blinders.
Oh yeah.
But he's usually got a very like stern, emotionless face, non-reactionary. Yeah, I think that would be perfect for Oppenheimer. The weight of making what he made, I'm sure was.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be intense.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and like the whole idea of like the world changes. I'm just like, I mean, the world should change after that. So that's I don't know, scary but interesting. Very daring to.
In the meantime, you can watch Thanos versus Oppenheimer in on Epic Rap Battles of History.
Oh my gosh. That's all.
Probably
It's great.
Let's move on.
Okay, we'll get into some TV stuff then. I don't know what it is about the show, but one of my favorite Netflix shows is Car Masters from Rust to Riches.
Nice.
And I like binged 3 seasons, and then had to wait a year, and it had been like 2 years between their seasons because of COVID. And it is literally, I've talked about it on the podcast before, but they started out with just buying like cheap junked cars and fixing them up, and they would flip them, or they would trade them to someone else for a like more expensive junk car, and they would fix that junk car up until they got to $100,000 price point.
Oh, nice.
And it was really, really cool. And then after a while, they like worked their ways up to a car that they ended up like putting in a museum, donating to a museum, and that skyrocketed their career. It's such a good show, and now this last season is even crazier. They're doing even more, and it's cool that like I don't know the way that it's just like a normal reality show that you see anywhere else, but the storytelling in it is like really well done. The way that they film things, they do a really annoying thing where they don't end the episode at the ending of the episode. You have to get to the next one to finish the ending. Basically, Netflix is notorious for that.
That's right. Yeah.
So they'll like go to sell a car, and he's like, "So what do you think? Is it a deal?" And then it will like go to the next episode.
That's weird because like I can see them doing that for like commercial breaks and stuff like that, but I guess with that there is no commercial break. So
right, it just makes you want to watch
something.
the show and keep going.
Yeah.
My wife has no idea, like doesn't know anything about cars, doesn't care about cars, and she loves it just for the mere fact of like the characters, which are real people, but just they're such different personalities, and the storytelling of it all. It's just cool. I don't know. And the cars are super cartoony. Gotham Garage does very like they made a car based off of a Hot Wheel.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and so like their cars are kind of just like these unrealistic looking creations. They're fun.
Yeah.
That's what I've been watching.
Cool.
What about you, Shelley?
So I was trying to think about TV I watched. What's so funny is that I actually watched TV. Well, my husband and I, we took a trip to Ocean Shores in Washington, which is great. It's by the ocean. It's lovely. Big Long Beach.
I was gonna say, if it's
all the
called Ocean
time.
Shores, I hope it's by the ocean.
Yeah, I mean, yes. But anyway, all that said, we're in the hotel room, and there's a, we were just like, okay, there's a TV, and my instinct when there's just a TV and we just need to watch cable, I always go to Food Network.
Yep.
I don't know why. Just growing up my whole life,
That's
it's
a
always
good
been
one.
Food Network. I love Food Network for the most part. And so we ended up watching like 5 or 6 episodes of Beat Bobby Flay because, you know, freaking
Yes.
show, like all these, I don't know why. I don't know if
Guys,
it's
Grocery
changed.
Games, Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives.
Yeah, I don't know if it's changed with like streaming services being out now and me not like watching cable hardly at all anymore, but it seems like most cable television, they just show all these like the same show over and over
Yep.
and over for like literally just huge blocks of time.
Yep.
And maybe that used to be a thing too and I just forgot. That's totally valid, but basically we just watched a bunch of Beat Bobby Flay because we had nothing else to watch. So I don't even really know what to talk about that show. I just think it's kind of funny. It's just a funny show. It always makes me wonder how, like, you know, how staged is this? How planned was this?
Right.
It's just kind of funny how Bobby Flay is an executive producer to this show, and it's literally just a show about him being a better cook than other people and destroying their dreams by doing their signature dish better than them. But there were some episodes where
Oh yeah, he
the
loses.
competitor won. Yeah, and it's like I've seen this show before, but it was just kind of a nice, like, nostalgic feeling.
Yeah.
Even though there were like newer episodes, but it was kind of just like, I don't know, like.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of things growing up, like Nickelodeon, Disney, but I also just watched so much Food Network. So
Same.
it's like, it reminded me of, like watching Iron Chef, just like classic Iron Chef, Iron Chef America, and things like that. So,
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't even have more to say about that other than it just makes me want to cook more Food Network dishes, because I actually have made a Bobby Flay dish before. I made his chocolate mousse. That can be found on the Food Network website, and it was really good. And if I could do it, you could do it, because I'm not very good at it, so.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's one thing with Rush to Riches you had mentioned, like, is something staged or not? And there's a lot in that show where you're like, there's no way that wasn't
For
like,
sure.
rehearsed.
Yeah.
But it's still fun.
Like the and this happens in any like cooking competition show, including
Yeah.
Chopped, like any single one, where they're always like they're counting down like 10, 9, 8,
Yeah.
and then it shows them like putting the final like touches on their dish.
It's like,
and I'm
how'd
just
you do
like,
that
no
fast?
way. No way does it actually like pan out that way. They just
Yep.
film them looking frantic, plating things, and it's definitely not at the same time.
Yeah.
It's definitely not when the time's running down. They just do the camera magic to make it look that, which is like fine with me. As
You're
long
like,
as
I've
it's
played
upsetting to me.
Overcooked. It should be more chaotic than this.
Yeah. But anyway, I just kind of thought it was fun. To
In
watch.
this, it's always the bartering when they're going back and forth about like buying a car. I'm like, there's no way you didn't make this deal before filming.
Oh
it's
yeah,
just
it's like they have
so-
to pretend to barter.
Yeah.
That's awkward.
I'm like, it's so like the numbers will be so perfect. It's like, okay, I see, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I still watch Food Network on the regular with my mom, like when she'll put that on, or she has Discovery Plus, and like there's a lot of stuff we'll watch on there, like a lot of
This
Food
last week-
Network.
This last week was also Shark Week, I think.
Oh,
And so
yeah, yep.
We were at the very last second. We did tune into like a random shark show about like they were trying to discover the secret as to why this entire clan of tiger sharks are all women. They're all female tiger sharks. Where are the male tiger sharks? What's going on? But I didn't get to finish watching it, so I never learned the mystery. So if you did watch that and learn the mystery, you should tweet at me and let me know, because I'm curious.
Where all the male sharks have gone.
Yeah.
It was weird. I was like, I don't know. I never cared about tiger sharks before, but now I'm invested. Like,
Like, I am an activist.
yeah.
LJ, how's the new Harley Quinn? Have you been watching the new
Yeah,
season?
I watched. So they start off with 3 episodes, and it's
Cool.
going to release weekly for a short time, and I like it. It's more Harley Quinn. Obviously, based on the way that last season ends, like there's the new dynamic of relationships and stuff like that. But it's still a really good show. Like, despite it being like adult and like just very aggressively like violent and like vulgar, it feels like it's well written to where it's like beyond that. Like, I feel like there's not like as many like redeeming qualities as like there is in like a Peacemaker kind of thing, but it's just
Right.
very well written and it's very funny.
It's
So
kind of a Rick and Morty to me, in the sense that
Yeah.
like there's a point to the chaos.
yes, there really is. Like yeah, like you know, it's and it's the thing that they've been trying to do, especially in like Birds of Prey, where it's like, you know, you don't need Joker, you know, that kind of a thing.
Right.
Which is even more so this season. But it's good though. It's fun. And yes, I'm going to preface again, hard mature on this show.
Yes.
If you're not comfortable with adult cartoons, do not watch this.
Even more so, I would say.
Yeah,
I brought
that's
up
true.
Rick and Morty, but it's probably worse than Rick and Morty.
Eh,
More like
Rick-
solar opposites.
I don't. Rick and Morty goes pretty hard too, though. There's things that they do in Rick and Morty that I don't know if they would do in Harley Quinn.
No,
But
okay.
I don't know. Like,
Solar
you just-
Opposites gets pretty. I watched a little bit of that. I didn't talk about that. But Solar Opposites probably is more mature. It's the Hulu version of Rick and Morty. Same creators, same
yes.
voice actor.
Rick and Morty
It's funny.
still goes
It,
pretty
it
hard.
goes a little far sometimes.
Is that their things? Aren't they aliens, or am I mixing?
Yes.
them up?
Yeah, they're aliens. Yeah.
okay.
Yep. So yes, I
Cool.
recommend it with a big asterisk, big
Yeah,
caveat.
definitely.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we'll get into the news then. Perfect. Talking about Harley Quinn. Something
Warner
that has
Brothers.
in its own universe. Not just Warner Bros, but DC. Arrowverse is technically ending with The Flash season 9 airing in 2023. It'll be season 9. They'll only have 13 episodes, capping it off. I feel like it's gonna end with a whisper, not a bang.
Which
Maybe I'm wrong, but-
which reminds me of the joke I was making earlier. I'm like, wow, they're just really taking this thing out back finally. Like,
Yeah,
it's terrible to say, but I'm like, it's been time, you know?
yeah. I'm hopeful that 13 episodes are like a big deal, but I don't see that being the case. I mean, I don't know how many people watch The Flash anymore. The show has been the same show for years now.
And it's sad because like I really genuinely enjoyed, like, honestly, The Flash was like my favorite Arrowverse show
yeah,
for a
same.
good while there, and like I never got into Arrow that much and some of the other shows, so like that was it for me up until a few
Yeah.
years ago.
Long time listeners may remember. I would like annoy the crew because I would
Yeah,
be,
Joe used to
what are
clown
you
you for
watching? And I
watching-
was like, this is the Arrowverse show that I watched this week, and this is why you should watch it.
Yep,
At the time, it was such a cool idea to.
it was.
It was like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it was in television, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It was new. I guess it was really fresh. Now everyone's doing a universe, and everything's connected, and Disney Plus is doing crazy well. I think I kept comparing it to Agents of Shield, which was supposed to be like incorporating the movies and was doing a
Yeah,
terrible
yeah.
job. And so it was like, I'm literally getting the Flash in the Arrow TV show. That's so
yeah,
cool.
and it's like and I guess not. They weren't like super amazing, you know, but they were really good. But
Yeah,
they
it was fun.
Definitely slowed down in quality.
Yeah, I think the quality went down, and they had so many shows. I could keep up with Arrow, and I could keep up with Flash, and that was cool. And then Legends of Tomorrow, I tried,
Yes, it's a little too
and I
much
just
at
couldn't
some
keep
point.
up. Yeah, they were coming out like
Yeah.
the same time.
I wish I would have watched more Legends of Tomorrow because I feel like I would have liked that one.
Yeah,
It was fun.
At the very least, with Disney Plus shows, they do space them out. They do not
Right,
have them multiple
yeah.
running, and they usually space it out with like Star Wars in between. So it's like Marvel show, Star
not
Wars,
getting that
Marvel show,
burnout.
some other show, another break, a Marvel show, Star Wars. So
The Arrowverse, though, you would have had to watch an episode every night of the week almost.
That's-
that
I
was
Yeah,
think it was
no.
4 was the top, and it was
obnoxious.
Arrow,
Yeah.
Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, and then Supergirl was kind of in the universe. It would kind of it's complicated. Arrowverse
Yep.
is complicated. And so I just couldn't keep up 4 days a week trying to watch TV. That's 4
Yeah.
hours of this one, like 4 different storylines, 4 different shows.
Yeah.
It just ended up being too much. I couldn't watch other things and do that. So, yeah, it's sad to see it end, but it's time, I think. You're still going to have Superman and Lois, and then I believe
Stargirl.
Stargirl.
Which that Superman
is-
show is apparently really good. I've only watched like the one season, but I liked what I watched at the time.
Cool. I haven't seen it. That's on HBO Max now, isn't it? Didn't it
Yeah,
move or
I think both might be. Actually, I don't know if Stargirl is or not, but I know Superman and Lois is for sure.
Okay. So, I don't know. It's end of an era, but it's time.
Yeah.
I'm kind of hoping that they just kill all the different universe stuff and kind of, as much as I would hate to see Titans go, I really wish they would do kind of a cohesive universe thing.
Just put Grant Gustin in the main movie Flash universe now.
Yeah.
It's time. Let's do it.
I think we need a Flashpoint, like the ending of the Flashpoint Paradox movie with what's his face. What is that guy's name? I can't call him what's his face.
Ezra Miller.
Ezra Miller. Yeah. What's their face too?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Getting political.
Yep. But man, they just
needs to he needs to do something, and it just blows up the entire multiverse, and then we have a singular universe for a little bit, until we forget that everything has happened.
Just get Grant Gustin. Just do it. Like that's now
Either
that,
that or kill all universes and have movies like the Batman and be original in each.
Yeah.
Make good movies.
Oh, but if they decide to recast, I mean, you don't even have to necessarily recast right there. You got it.
Yeah. Fan cast. This is a tangent. I'm so on board though with Homelander's actor playing the Reverse Flash.
Ooh,
Edward Thawne.
That'd be good.
Jeez.
So perfect.
Yeah.
That would be
Like he's got
awesome.
that cockiness. Oh, I mean,
Typecast
so
him.
perfect.
Typecast him.
Yes. We can move on.
This whole section does make me reminisce at the fact that we used to talk about the Arrowverse almost every show.
Kind of nostalgic.
Yes.
There was an era in which we're like, Cody, are you going to talk about Arrowverse today? And you're like, yes.
Yes.
And then eventually it was
Flaro,
like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, and then we stopped, and now it's happening. It is because you, Cody.
Then
You stopped
it
watching
turned into
this.
Viking shows.
Yep, they turned into Vikings.
That's true, actually.
I remember Joe. I would be like, I'm like, well, a new episode of Arrow came out, and he would, or like, it would be in the news. It would be a big crossover event, and
Yeah.
Right.
Joe Morgan, a co-host, an old co-host on here, would literally roll his eyes. He would be like, ugh.
And we're just
I'm like,
like,
it's-
and because you would always too, you would just be like, yeah, it's still not good. Every week, you'd be like, it's still not good. Oh, it disappointed me again this time. Oh, you know what?
I was
I
so
was
hopeful.
hoping for this, but it's standard, meaning it's not very good. And this was every week, and me and Joe would just be like, why are you watching this?
Why do you do
Because I
this?
wanted it to be so good. Spoiler alert. It wasn't.
Well, clearly. Or else we
Watch
wouldn't be talking.
Titans.
Or else we wouldn't be talking about this cancellation.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Watch Titans. Titans was good. Something that I do expect to be good. Star Wars Andor, which I think this is the second trailer that came out.
It looks good, and part of me I really didn't care at first, but now I'm like, ooh, it looks good.
It doesn't look like Star Wars in a really good way.
But isn't that what we liked about Rogue One too? Is that it wasn't really like Star Wars?
Yeah, it looks more like Rogue One, which I'm happy about. It doesn't look like, I don't know how to say this. I was talking with my friends about it, how it's like, with these, especially the Marvel shows, and even some of the other Star Wars shows, like, there's some sort of, like, shininess to it. Like, the colors are, like, a little too bright. There's, like, a lot of weird polish on it that is a little too artificial sometimes. But then this, like, doesn't have that, and I know it's because they're, like, changing up how they're using the dome or whatever, for
Yeah, I had to look it
filming.
up. Stagecraft is what they would call it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stagecraft is the screens that are like green screens, but they're real time projections that you're filming.
You know what's really cool too is I think I'll appreciate this more and Rogue One more now that I've seen Clone Wars, because Saw is literally
definitely.
in Clone Wars.
That's true.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
that was a fun time because I was like, oh, all right, I didn't know he was way back in Clone Wars. Like, so that's kind of neat.
This looks like a good sci-fi series, and it just happens to be in Star Wars, and it kind of reminds you of that a couple times. I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really enjoyed that. I think Star Wars seems to be best when it's not about space wizards.
Or a Skywalker.
Yeah. Morally about Skywalker, because Obi-Wan was great.
That's true.
There were different issues in Obi-Wan. But just story beats that don't make sense.
And I think part of it is just because the most recent Star Wars media I've watched besides Obi-Wan is the sequel trilogy, or movies from the sequel trilogy. I think I'm just excited to get back to the era in which the Empire legitimately had power. They actually were ruling. And you felt that in Rogue One really strongly. And so I'm really excited to see more of that, because it's like, there's the prequel trilogy where it's like the flip side, where it's like the Republic had all the power, and then the Sith kind of came up from nowhere, and then Empire stuff. Well, not necessarily from nowhere, but like you see the transition like happen so fast. Order 66, very cool. And then you have that heart that the original trilogy has, is the fact that they're like a small group of people rebelling against a greater empire, and that's very good, and it has a lot of heart to that. And then that's not there in the sequel trilogy, because the Republic has the power again, but they try to mimic it, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work, in my opinion. So I'm really excited to go back to, they're like, explore the origins of the rebellion. I'm just like, this is really cool, because that's one of the really good parts that we love about the original trilogy, and that we loved about Rogue One. Obviously, it's very similar to Rogue One, having the same characters and all. But I'm really excited for that aspect, because I think, I still love the prequels, and I really like the original trilogy, but I think going back to the actual rebellion, like there's actual oppression, and there's actual things going on, there's actual danger of, like, we don't know these characters super well. Obviously we know the main character in Rogue One, so like we know he's gonna live probably, right, because this is a prequel,
right?
And we know, but it's like most of these characters we're not gonna know. They could just die at any time. We could get really attached to them, and because being an actual rebel is really freaking dangerous, very heroic, but like in a situation like that, but very, very dangerous, they could just die. So I just think that's cool. Like, that was the same feeling with Rogue One. You're just like, here's all these characters who are probably gonna die, so it's gonna be more of that, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah, definitely. Favorite line in the trailer was, you can call it what you want, I'm gonna call it war. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah,
so good.
That's definitely a precursor to everything that the original trilogy had, as far as the rebellion versus the Empire.
Yeah, it's like going back to that honestly, I think, is more the root and the heart of Star Wars, is that initial, like, we're rising up against the tyranny that the sequel trilogy just doesn't have. And the prequels set up, right? They set that up.
Yeah.
But that's the
prequels are like, we're just trying to fight this thing off, more so in the prequels.
And they don't really realize, how stuff is seeping and corrupting into their industry, into their leadership and their politics, and how it's all of a sudden, it just at the flip of a head that all the power goes sideways. It's so cool. I really like Star Wars. I also just think it's really funny that Bill Anderson is in this. Every time I see that actor, I think Bill Anderson from Mamma Mia. He's always what I think of. So I'm like, Bill Anderson.
The other piece of news that we have going on is also Disney Plus news, and that is a Secret Invasion. We kind of already knew that was happening. It was announced quite a bit ago. We knew that it was the Skrulls, but MCU, or Kevin Feige, I should say, is dubbing it the first Disney Plus crossover event. And so most likely we're going to be getting characters from Moon Knight, Miss Marvel,
just give me more Oscar Isaac, please.
I love Oscar Isaac.
Loki and Hawkeye. See, I don't think we're gonna get that. I think it'll probably be, if there's anyone from Moon Knight, it'll be the Scarlet Scarab or someone.
Oh yeah, true.
I think it's gonna be more of the side characters and not like an Avengers team up with all those shows.
Like Maria Hill is supposed to be a big character in Secret Invasion.
Mm-hmm. I could see Rambo being a big part from WandaVision. Falcon and Winter Soldier, I don't know, but some military people. I mean, that was full of stuff. Yeah. Loki is one that I'm like, I can't imagine that's going to cross over with this, but maybe. We'll see. Mm-hmm. That would be a weird one.
Maybe Sharon Carter will be involved in it somehow.
Sharon Carter, I could definitely see in a Secret Invasion situation. So, I don't know. I'm excited for it. I think it'll be cool. It'll be a Disney Plus show. I don't remember when it comes out, but it's going to kind of cap off the Disney Plus shows that we've seen so far. And
It's
I'm
the
excited for
beginning of, I think that and Ant-Man are the beginning of Phase 5.
Phase 5.
Okay. Yeah, because that's what we talked about last week, is how they had all the phases mapped out. So Wakanda Forever is going to be the last piece of this phase we're in now, which is Phase 4.
Gotcha.
And then Ant-Man and Secret Invasion are going to kick off Phase 5.
That makes
Craziness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it makes, like, when you put Kang is Ant-Man, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rather than Secret, we have the Secret War, which I don't think has anything to do with Secret Invasion, but you've still got precursor titles.
Secret Invasion, I feel like, is going to be almost like a Captain America Winter Soldier kind of thing, where just everything starts to unwind.
That's probably right.
Yeah.
Curious who was all going to be Skrulls. I feel like that's a really... like, I wouldn't be sad if someone's a Skrull that I don't want to be a Skrull. We'll see if that's what they do with it. But
yeah.
Like, I don't want... There's a lot of people I would be really bummed if they were Skrulls. Yelena. How dumb would that be? Hawkeye. Hawkeye would be sad. I don't know. There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm excited. The event's gonna be cool. It'll be fun. I'm ready for another crossover event for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been a long time. But we'll end the podcast there. Are you guys geeking out about anything else this week?
Not at the moment, no.
Nope.
Cool.
Nope.
All right. Well, LJ, where can they find you at?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at LJ the Paladin. And you can find me streaming on the Geeks Under Grace Twitch channel on Friday nights, twitch.tv/Geeks Under Grace.
Cool. And Shelley?
You can find me on Twitter at TheShellshock24.
And you can find me on Instagram at Cody Armour. Keep gaming, keep praying, and God bless.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. We love hearing from you, so feel free to ask us questions or just comment on the show by using the hashtag GUGcast on Twitter, or by joining the GUGcast questions channel in the Geeks Under Grace Discord. If you like this episode, consider leaving a review or rating of our show on your favorite podcast app. If you want even more Geeks Under Grace, you can always go to geeksundergrace.com. We love you all so much, so thank you for listening.